to the UNAI EMERY press conference reaction and some good news, Justin. Boubacar Kamara is back in contention. This is what it says. Boubacar Kamara's returned to training with the group, and if he trains normally again on Friday, he'll be in the squad to face Chelsea at the weekend. Brilliant news. We've got Dendoncker. He's back. He's been training with the group for 2 weeks. Cash is out for 2 to 3 weeks with a calf injury, and Coutinho is progressing well. So the big news, and I think this is it's just good for it, isn't it? Because we've now got an abundance of players in central midfield who are very good, and some of them are banging form. So you've got Ramsey banging form after he's captain in England. He got a goal as well, didn't he? Scored at the Park against Bournemouth. McGinn scoring for Scotland, has done brilliantly in midfield. Had the test of the double pivot, passed that with flying colours. So he's banging form. Luiz, he's absolutely brilliant. Kamara's back. It just feels right, doesn't it, in that midfield now? And I think with the games we've got coming up, it's a welcomed boost for the squad.
Oh, I think it's fantastic news. I mean, when he got injured, we were all absolutely devastated because we know how important he has become to the team. And we was all a little bit concerned that with him out of the side, what happens, who plays, who fills that gap. I felt McGinn could fill the gap, and I think he's filled it absolutely fantastically. I think, if anything, this injury possibly helped Unai Emery with a potential problem going forward. Is when you do miss one of those pivots, who can fill that gap? And we've got a player in John McGinn who has been magnificent in that role, to be honest. I mean, he plays further forward for us, and he's looked brilliant in that position going further forward, and he's played further forward for Scotland, and he's always brilliant there. So he can play in these multiple positions. It's not to say that I don't think Boubacar Kamara will come back, because he certainly, I think, given fitness problems tomorrow at training, then I think he's back in the team, and he won't even have to play a full 90, will he? Because I would think Dendonker's going to be back on the bench. McGinn can always slot back in there. Somebody's going to miss out if Kamara goes in there, so somebody will have to drop out. So there's options off the bench. So it's not like he's got to come in and play the next 4 games on the trot. So over the moon, he's back. I'm so glad it's not a long-term injury. Hopefully he's recovered really well, and it just adds more depth, doesn't it, to the squad?
Yeah, we'll talk more tomorrow about the lineup in the predicted lineup, because we are doing it the opposite way around, because the press has dropped today when normally the predicted lineup goes out. So
they like keeping us on our toes.
I'll tell you what, though, we've got a better chance of getting it right because we now know who's back and who's not. So that's one positive. And another thing is that, when you've got sort of like 3 games in the space of a week, I think it's good that we've got more options now. So even though Kamara might not play on Saturday, he's back, so he could potentially come back in for Leicester. You've got Buendia now that can maybe move into the Bailey role, and then vice versa. You've got Traore. So, with 3 games coming up, we've got options all over that forward line and midfield area. So I think that's a good thing for us now. So we're not light in any area. So let's get on then to what Emery has said. He's put, we are still 11th, but we are really close with the same points as Chelsea. It's been a good moment for us, and we can be positive and take confidence. So we mentioned a bit of it in the match preview, but it is mad that we're level on points with Chelsea, isn't it, Justin?
It is. We'd have took it at the start of the season. If they said with 11 games to go, we're level on points with Chelsea, you'd have said, yeah, thank you very much, I'll take that. But obviously they've had a very odd season. I suppose similar sort of to us. Then they lost a manager and had to replace him, and they've had to reset. They haven't reset as well as I think they would have hoped. As we covered on the match preview, they're a squad full of quality players, but they just haven't clicked as a unit, have they? And that's very difficult when you've got about 300 players to fit in. So Potter's had a lot of problems, I think. I think the fans haven't massively taken to him. I think there's probably a lot of split opinions on whether he's the right man for the job. I felt it was a very odd decision when it happened. I felt it was probably a bad move for him and a bad move for Chelsea. You know, the Chelsea fan, where they are, where they want to be, you'd be looking at the top end of managers, and Potter leaving Brighton, a job he's just, I mean, look at where they are still. So he's done a fantastic job there. Huge risk to his reputation, throwing that away to go somewhere that you know you can get the boot from, as we've seen multiple managers happen. So, yeah, they have had a weird season, but that doesn't take anything away from our achievements. You know, we've lost a manager, yet we're still in the hunt for the top 7 or 8. So, which is just ridiculous, really. I think that it has to go down to the manager. You know, we've employed an absolute world class, elite level, top bracket world manager. You know, I think if you said at the start of the season that Chelsea and Villa have both lost their managers, and Graham Potter and Unai Emery would be replacing them, which one goes to which club? You'd have probably said Emery will end up at Chelsea and we'll end up with Graham Potter.
Yeah.
We've got the better end of the stick there, to be honest. And I think given the right financial, you know, backing over the next few years, you know, we've got a manager capable of possibly even us, you know, getting us up to where Chelsea want to be as well.
Yeah, I mean, he spoke about Chelsea and Potter. He's put they are very good players. The coach is amazing. I think they are progressing, and everything he did at Brighton, he can work on at Chelsea. So, you know, Unai rates him, and you know, if I had to put my 2 pence in on Potter, is that I think Chelsea are in a bit of the fan base is in a bit of a weird position because they're not used to like a Potter type manager, are they?
No.
They're used to what their manager have got to do is just win trophies, instant success.
Instant, yeah.
Whereas with Potter, it's a different dynamic of we're prepared to let you build and grow, and it, to some Chelsea fans, they're not used to that. Do you know
Well, I
what I
think
mean?
the owner took a huge risk in bringing Potter in for that exact reason. He even said, you know, we want a project, we want a long-term goal, and they have had to get over a lot of problems in the short term. And like you say, clubs like Chelsea want instant success. They want a manager to come in and win trophies straight away. I mean, this season would have been like, you've got to start competing now. So, yeah, it is a bit of an odd one to sort of build, you know, with a manager like Graham Potter. And it's not to say it might not work. It won't work, but it's a difficult job
Yeah.
for a manager that hasn't, you know, managed at the highest level.
It's the thing is in the Premier League is time doesn't stop still, does it?
No.
So if you have one season or 6 months when you're a top 4 side where your level's dropping, you look like you're getting out of the top 4, and then you've got clubs like Brighton coming up, Newcastle coming up, potentially Villa next season that want to challenge. If you're about to sort of be overtaken, then you don't last 5 minutes, do you? So
No.
I think that whole instant success thing, it is a thing for those clubs at the top because they know that if they ever drop out that Champions League position for a number of years, you know, the financial benefits and everything like that, it's just massive. So I think he does need time, but it's whether, you know, it's how long they're prepared
It's the
to
fans,
give
isn't it?
him.
The fans will dictate there. You know,
Yeah.
if I think he's going to be the manager start of the season next year. It's how he starts next season. The first 5 to 10 games will dictate how long he stays at that club for.
Yeah. He spoke about, I'm happy with the reaction after 3 defeats, Leicester, Man City and Arsenal. The reaction from the players, supporters and coaching was amazing. Now, this one on the right back position, right? Have a listen to this, right? See what Emery's cooking up here then. So, options on the right back. When Ashley Young was playing, he was playing very well. And I have Callum Chambers, who can play in that position as well. Now, I've never heard any Villa fan say that Chambers can do a job at right back. That's interesting to me that Emery is cooking up something. What are you thinking? Did he play there for Arsenal?
I think he's a utility player, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a player. He's like a Simon Grayson or a Ricardo Schmeichel, if you go back that far, that can play multiple positions. It's an option, isn't it? I think as we know, we play with a false right back, don't we? In this system. So I suppose if you think about it, you've got a player in Ashley Young who was as a winger naturally more attacking, and then you've got a player in Chambers who is stock and trade is defensive midfielder. So it would fit in with the false right back role that we employ. The left back is the one that attacks. The left back was the one that gets forward against the Chelsea team that will offer a lot of threats down the sides and in attacking positions. Is it the worst case in the world to throw another sort of centre half in that can play at right back to do a job? It's not ideal. You'd rather have Matty Cash, but he's not available, so you have to look at what you've got. Ashley Young would be the natural choice, I think, and probably the player that will come in to start with. But as we was talking just before we started, we've got 4 games in 14 days that Cash is going to miss. So it's not the worst thing in the world for someone like Chambers to come and fit in that role. And Young might just play an hour and then come off to keep him fresh. So yeah, I wouldn't be averse to Chambers coming in. As we've seen with John McGinn filling a role that that he's not accustomed to. These players can come and do a job. So yeah, it's not a bad idea really.
And gone are the days where we got an injury at right back. We put a player in there, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to have an absolute shocker here. But that I've got a feeling that what Emery's going to do is he's going to make the player who is playing in front of the right back, such as McGinn, he's going to have a big role in helping support and helping defend. And, the whole team will have a defensive balance to it, which, you're not just going to leave Ashley Young out to dry and, he's going to be 1v1. So I do think, the team we know will be set up very, very well. So whoever plays will, the team will look good, basically.
Yeah, I've got no qualms about Ashley Young playing right back. I think he's been absolutely outstanding for us, and he's filled in. He's probably one of our best cover players, to be honest, in the whole squad that can come in and you just wouldn't blink an eye about him starting on Saturday. Defensively, he's very good as well for a bloke that started out as an attacking winger. His defensive part of the game has been. I think that year in Italy really helped him. I really do. I think they are masters of defending. So he slotted in at right back for Man United, starting to that's how he started to evolve his role within a team, and then he went over to Italy, and that year has obviously tuned him, like a top Ferrari, isn't he?
And I hope Buendia was glued to Messi on that Argentina duty. I hope he was just everywhere Messi turned, Buendia was right behind him. I want him to have mirrored his whole game now on the Messi touch, the Messi run, the Messi passes. So Buendia, I'm expecting big things now. You've been training with Messi. He's mentioned John McGinn. I like him because he has great spirit every day. As a professional, his commitment is incredible and he sets an example for the players. From the first meeting, I was very happy with him and his performance has been at a high level. And I love McGinn. I love McGinn in the Villa side. I think, when he was going through them bad patches, whenever I looked at a team without McGinn in it just didn't feel right for me. So, I echo everything Unai says about McGinn because, you'll get some fans that say, but I want the Scotland McGinn. I want that McGinn. And yeah, don't we all? But we're not Scotland. That's the thing. Like, you've got to look at the correct comparison of like where we are, what we're trying to do, what league we're playing in. So I think his role for Villa is okay in the way he's performing. I don't look at him and think now after these performances, Spurs, etc., and everything he's done under Unai, I don't look at McGinn and wish he was a different McGinn, if that makes sense. I think before you could say that because, he was playing out of position trying to be a right back, weren't he, at the start of the season and last season. But now, like, the McGinn we've seen under Emery, I don't think you can knock it. Like, I really don't.
I think he lost his way under Gerrard because, as we all know, Gerrard was a poor coach. Let's put it out there. We know that he was a poor coach. He'd never had a plan, he was sort of flying by the seat of his pants. Seemed to be week in, week out. After 12 months, we couldn't decipher what he was trying to do. And I think that sort of filtered its way through to players like McGinn, who I think enjoy a clear role in the team, and they enjoy a manager that sits them down and says, "These are your strengths, and this is how we're going to get the best out of you." And I think that's what Emery does with every single player. I think he does it with everybody. So I think, to be honest, he's a top player, and I can't wait for him to play in that role. I think playing in front of Ashley Young as well is ideal because he'll help him out a lot as well. So yeah, I can't wait.
Don't know what's happened to my camera.
His screen's gone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
let me just see where my camera's gone.
He didn't want to talk to me, so he's cut me off.
Right, my camera's gone. So we'll hear
I think we've finished it there, haven't we?
So, don't know why my camera's done this, but he has mentioned Ramsey. He spoke about
What's he said?
Birmingham, and we have to keep players like him because the spirit that he adds, as well as his quality, he's very good. So I think that's some nice words for Ramsey as well. So yeah, I think that's done us, my little technical glitch. But we'll be back tomorrow for our predicted lineup. So
hopefully, if he gets his camera mended.
See you later.